Purging. And what is that? What is going on with purging? Emotional, mental purge on many levels and layers for many lifetimes, especially this one. Let me take it from the beginning. One of the stages of spiritual awakening, but it's not just one, unfortunately, is about the purging process. The purging process has to do with realizations and suppressed or stuffed emotions. In that space, what we are doing is starting to release these emotions. We start to realize what happened for us, in which situation, with whom, around that situation, which people were involved. So we realize more and more and more and more, and we are getting into a space of releasing all of these emotions, of how much it hurt us, why it hurt us. It might be sadness coming through, frustration, disappointment, grief, another emotion of the birds, grieving of who we could have been in the best case scenario, what things we missed out from our lives. All of these things are coming up as thoughts blended with emotions, and they are the realizations where they come as, whoa, this happened then. And how did I deal with that? I didn't. I just had to pull through and push through actually that space of that disappointment, of this let down by others. And it is heavy and it is coming out in this space in a heavy way because we are dealing with heavy and deep emotions. They can be deep rooted because of our upbringing. They can be deep rooted and deep emotions, heavy emotions, because of the things because of the way we were challenged in many ways. And sometimes we didn't even realize it when it was happening, that now I'm being challenged in so many ways and I have to show up in the best way possible. But even being constantly strong in that space of, I have to make it through. I have to be the strong person of the family, of the society, of the class, of whatever the dynamic is involved in that space. I have to be the strong one. I have to be standing up at all times for everyone else, and I have to be the strong person for others. No. Also, when we realize how we have been taken advantage of in some situations, knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or subconsciously, when we realize how many things have happened and how we weren't actually supported, but back then it seemed kind of normal because this is the best thing they could have done, either parents, friends, siblings, family, relatives, whoever that might have been, or even at school, teachers and classmates, and how we felt completely unsupported, very vulnerable, but not knowing how to cope with all of this. So when we are starting to awaken, we start to realize this is that what awakening is, realizations that this happened, this shaped me into who I am now, but it's not okay for me anymore. And the more realizations we have, they create a lot of emotional reactions to us, and that is normal. That is okay. You're supposed to have an emotional reaction to something that happened even in the past. In that space where the realizations kick in and we are like that, and everything feels overwhelming because the realizations are more and more and more, and you are like, oh my goodness, we are getting into the stage of purging or catharsis in Greek. It's not Greek. It is Greek as a word, catharsis in English, but catharsis and the purging we are going through. We have to release all these suppressed emotions, all the things we never acknowledged or admitted to ourselves, and even more so to others. We didn't have the strength or the courage or it felt as if we are talking back to them, so it wasn't appropriate in many ways and situations. We are purging a lot of emotions, or even the things that people did in a kind, nice way, but still it wasn't exactly kind or nice. I can wear a mask of kindness and niceness. That doesn't exist, I know. But I can wear that kind of mask and I can be as mean as I can want, okay, in that space. So it's not about being kind. Even if someone speaks to you in a kind way, they can say a lot of hurtful things on purpose. All of these things have created an emotional charge. Either they have been suppressed or not processed enough. Because some of the times we are processing our feelings, our emotions, we acknowledge them, we recognize them, but we are not processing enough of them or at the level they have been created. And why is that happening? Because we don't give that okay to ourselves, that permission, or we talk ourselves out of it. Come on now, grow up. You are a big girl, you can do it. I'm saying an example, okay? Or okay, so that happened. It shouldn't be bothering me. That's another way we talk ourselves out of something. No, if it bothered you, it bothered you. If it hurt you, it hurt you. Acknowledging that truth to yourself and being okay with yourself to be in that space. It is what the purge as a stage is about. Acknowledging, giving right to yourself, justifying to yourself that it is okay to feel like that, and allowing all the feelings to flow through you so they can rush and flow through your system and out of your system. So one of the ways of purging is crying, is getting angry, is grieving, the whole process of grief and all the stages, and getting into a space of saying this shouldn't have happened or this is why it went wrong and blah blah blah, and blaming even others in that space. That's also okay. It is your energetic container that needs to be purged out of these beliefs, emotions, and all the thoughts and everything else that was created in that space. So you're not exactly bringing anyone down by blaming. It is part of the purging stage. It is part of the first wave of awakening. So in that space, allow yourself even to blame others, even to be in a space of blaming yourself, release all the emotions, the tears, the cry that is coming out, the sadness, the frustration. Allow yourself. When you allow yourself to experience your emotions, that is the best way to purge. And there comes another stage of the spiritual awakenings where you realize that no one is to be blamed, not yourself, not others. And in that space of kind of neutrality, you are actually taking responsibility of your own life, of your own choices, of how you want to be creating your experience from now on, and you are getting into a different space in overall. So know that this comes afterwards. So be okay to do whatever is needed as long as it is okay for you to release resentments, hurts, betrayals, feelings of abandonment. Recognize, acknowledge that to yourself, and then become the parent of yourself. Because if you try to be the parent of yourself in a way, oh, you are a big girl now, or you can make it, it's okay, nothing important happened. Look, okay, you're stopping yourself from purging all the emotions. Don't try to mother yourself in that way because it won't work. That goes to bypassing, bypassing yourself, bypassing your emotions, bypassing what happened as an experience, ignoring how you felt because you think you should be able to handle it differently or better. And what is that better about? How does it look like? No, you're supposed to be experiencing all your emotions and allowing them to flow through you. If you think about, I should be doing this better, you are actually creating another conditioning, another limitation for yourself, and you suppress more of your feelings in a deeper way than they might already be. So allow the purging process to happen as it is to be happening, to unravel as it is supposed to be unraveling. And as a second note on this process of purging, it is also interesting how it comes out to play from past lives. So there are days in our spiritual awakenings that we are clearing consciously or unconsciously or subconsciously, it doesn't even matter. Some of our past lives, emotions that we still carry because we are souls that we incarnate again. And I won't say reincarnate because there's something off with that as a terminology, spiritually, energetically speaking. So we carry those imprints of energy within our soul's energy, and we are releasing them as we are experiencing them at some point where a trigger has hit the door. Okay, so there will be days where you will wake up and you, what the heck is wrong with me today? Why do I feel so emotional? Or why do I feel the lack of this person in my life or that person in my life where they are still here in my face, kind of thing, which is something that comes from other lifetimes. And there is a trigger, an emotional connection with that lifetime, or another connection with that lifetime that has occurred now, and you are releasing those emotions as well. So, even if you don't know why you feel how you feel, let it flow through you. Just acknowledge the feeling, even if you don't know exactly how you feel. And it might be a mixture of feelings. Okay, I may be feeling betrayed, abandoned, hurt, and frustrated, and everything all at once, or happy and excited, and still kind of. So allow all this, even without your full knowing of what it is, to flow through you. Create tools that help you release the emotions. Okay, I suggest different things in different occasions and situations, and I'm always open to explore more tools of how to explore, how to purge and release the emotions. So you maybe want to scream, you maybe want to cry your eyes out more than once, you may want to cry yourself to sleep. I wouldn't suggest that, but sometimes, yeah, that happens as well. You may want to break something to release an emotion of that space. Okay. You may want to isolate yourself for a couple of hours, not to interact with many people as possible. Okay. Whatever it is as an emotional purging you are going through and whatever it is that you want to experience. You may want to be painting and drawing and using colors. You may want to be dancing your pain out of your system. Somatic exercises, breathing exercises. I have this book, PDF, ebook put together. I will leave a link in the description box where you can find it in my website as a free book and download it with Ascension tools, uh, Ascension process tools and processes you can use for that purge as a stage in overall. Chanting, singing are some of the ways you can purge emotions. I'm purging while I'm watching movies some of the times while I'm watching a movie or a TV show or something, and I'm feeling something from that situation, dynamic, or when they are movies of other years and eras, I'm still purging stuff and it is okay. Or I feel chills and goosebumps. So I feel the connection with that era without the need to see exactly what was happening, if it was exactly the same or similar as a situation of a past life or something. So allow yourself to release, and in this space, I will have to leave a huge side note because there are times we are losing ourselves into that emotion while we are purging. There are times I have seen it within myself, I have seen it with my clients in sessions. They are losing themselves into that emotional purge and literally losing themselves, overdoing it with purging, which it has stopped being a purging process. It has actually become, I'm just crying over anything because I want more in my life and I'm not in a space even claiming it, or I want to feel pity of myself because we go through that space and phase as well. We lose ourselves into purging, and I'm sorry, it stopped being a purge and it started being something else. I wouldn't call it depression for any reason, probably melancholy, yeah, up to that level. So be okay to always outgrow that. Remember, it is just a phase, just a stage that you have to, at somehow, some point, release it and say, okay, here I am. I can be crying for the rest of my life, or I can do something creative and beautiful that truly excites me. And I'm gonna add this as well. When we are going through deep transformations, dark night of the soul, because this is the spiritual awakening, the dark night of the soul, in other words, in that space, because for some of us it can last even months, years. I have heard stories of years, and I'm like, whoa. Okay, no, overall, yes, it is years for me, but it's like on and off months, and now it is even less than that. So, in that space, please don't lose yourself. Don't forget to get out of that stage of purging, of transmutation of your energy, of emotional release, of mental release, of programming and beliefs and all of these things because there's more into life. That is a true danger that some of us have been facing or have faced even at least once. So remember to get out of that stage of purging because if it gets too prolonged, it has stopped being a purge. It has started being something that you should look at more seriously. So I hope this clarified a couple of things about the stage of our spiritual awakenings that has to do with purging, releasing the catharsis that Greeks, ancient Greeks used to say and use as a word. And see you on the next videos. Okay, before I move on to the next videos, before I move on and close this transmission and video, there's something you have to be aware of that purging is not an autonomous state that we go through once or twice. It is a process we keep having. Even when we come to the stage and space of full enlightenment and ascension while being alive, let me clarify that for some, okay? In that space, we still have to purge emotions that weren't even fully acknowledged at the point of creation of these emotions. So don't think and don't have in your mind that it is one stage, I went through that, I won't go through that again. Even if you are far ahead in the awakenings and you know yourself really well and you are in a space, yay, I've got this, I'm doing it. There are gonna be stages where we have to purge, okay? Nothing ever comes and stays like that as it is. Everything flows. Yes, Greek ancient. People used to say that. So everything flows and get into that space of fluidity within self because that will help you not get stuck at the stage of purging. And it also won't get you into a space of believing that everything is perfect now and nothing can bring me down. No. Okay, things are shifting constantly, and you need to remember that. Let me know if you have any questions. In the chat box, in the description box, you're gonna see links that you can download the ebook, the PDF, Ascension Process tools, and Ascension Process tools and techniques you can use in that space. And let me know if you have more questions about this stage of purging. I'm going to be covering more stages of spiritual awakenings one at a time so we can fully grasp what it is instead of creating a 5-hour video or something. See you on the next video.